this, man. Let's close this podcast on this. I've seen this on social media a lot, and I want to get your reaction. And I think y'all touched upon the Double S Project group on Facebook as well. A lot of people, a lot of our HBCU brethren and sisterhood, if you will, were complaining about ESPN2 not showing their halftime bands. Okay. And it's saying that you won our games, but you don't want our full culture or whatever. It's just been varying by several of us. And people don't understand what advertising dollars means and how they pay for stuff. Usually, what they say, like if you watch a game show, what do they say when they go to commercial break? It's time to pay some bills. Yeah. That's what those commercials do. That's paid advertising. So what's the longest advertising block? Halftime. Okay, so if you're ESPN2, you're already showing this game national televised audience. Why would you forfeit that to show the Battle of the Bands? Because that's how the networks get paid for it, and essentially that's how the teams, if I'm not mistaken, get paid. Yeah, is you get this advertising dollars. So, if you, I mean, do you think Coach Dion and the coach at FAMU want to forfeit all that money that they're getting on national television just to show a damn halftime band? No. And the reason why, and so the same people are like, well, NBC showed the Bayou Classics Battle of the Bands and Tennessee State and the Tennessee State coverage and Grammy coverage on the NFL Network showed the halftime bands. You know why? They were sponsored. They're a paid sponsor. So they essentially say, you know what? NFL Network, NBC for the Bayou Classic, in case the Bayou Classic, we're going to sponsor these halftime band shows. We're going to give you the money. Because that's how, again, they forfeit those advertising dollars because the sponsor, by sponsor, they pay them for. Yeah. People don't understand that. So that's how advertising dollars works, folks. That's how cable networks and whatever get paid, shows, games, that's how they get paid. Radio shows, they get paid by advertising dollars. Cable Fox, like Fox News, the reader on NBC, MSNBC, that's how they get paid the big dollars. Advertising. Yeah. Remember when, and I'm going off a tangent, but right quick, remember when they were bitching about, when rightfully so, about what, what's that guy on Fox News, not Sean Hannity, the other guy, when he said that there was no such thing as white supremacy after when doing that rally in Charlottesville a few years ago. What the sponsors, they threatened to take away advertising. Yep. As a way of saying, that's stupid, shut the hell up. Or else. It's through advertising. That's how they get paid.
To your point, how do we get to the Washington football team going through the whole process of wanting to change their name? Advertising. When FedEx said they were going to remove their naming rights off the stadium, when Pepsi talked about removing their advertising dollars from the team as well. Oh, now we got to rethink the whole naming thing. That's when it all comes down to it, right? So exactly, it all comes down to money, right? And for years, my original thought was that in order for them to do that, to broadcast the halftime shows, because I don't know how if it's necessarily the entire performance or not, but if anything, the networks, if memory serves me correctly, and I need someone to correct me if I'm wrong.
Me too. I'm educated too. I'm getting educated too. So
yeah, right. So I'm gonna go ahead and most definitely start digging a little bit deeper into this, right? That you have to get rights in order to perform certain songs on television, right? And my guess is that you would have to go ahead and get that done in advance so that can happen. And excuse me, we all, for those who are within that culture of HBCU bands, know that a lot of times these the band directors are very secretive about everything, what their performance is going to be, what songs they're going to perform, everything, right? So chances of them releasing what their set list is going to be beforehand might be slim. But again, that's if that is true, right?
Right.
I didn't even think about the whole aspect of the advertising dollars, but it's funny that you bring that up. Sam Weiss, who works with the NFL Network, who is also an alum of Howard University, was asked his perspective of what they should do in terms of covering the game this past weekend. He said he gave his advice, and one of those things, of course, was to play the halftime show. So I don't know if it's more so a misunderstanding from the networks that they don't realize how big that is within the culture of HBCU athletics, more so HBCU football, to have the halftime performance. I'm about to call it the halftime game. In essence, that's what it is, right? The halftime performances aired on television, but for whatever reason, of course, Bayou Classic knows, because it's well-known, Grambling Southern, their bands always played on the NBC networks. They know to go ahead and play that. And now NFL Network knows because an HBCU person told them about that. So if there's someone that can get to the ESPN, whoever's programming directors, to say, hey, tug on their shirt a little bit, you might want to go ahead and perform a little bit of these halftime shows, it'll finally appease the HBCU fans. But I think it may be a little bit more to it than what we currently know. But the advertising thing seems to be the thing that makes the biggest sense.
Exactly. Well said. Glad you said that, because it was bandied about on social media, and
always is. Every time we're aired on TV, why don't they show the bands? Why don't they show the bands? Yo, it's more. It's not that they hate. It's more to it than that.
Advertising dollars, folks.
Yeah.
And sponsorships. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Take a chill pill. Going back to your phrase, let the pizza bake. We're on TV more. We're on streaming more. HBCU schools are seeing more now than ever before. Thank you, ESPN. Thank you, NFL Network.
Yes.
And just look, guys, gals, brothers and sisters, let's just enjoy this. Can we not enjoy this? Can we not enjoy seeing our schools on television? Can we not enjoy seeing our schools stream everywhere, anywhere you want? We're going to complain about exposure. We're getting exposure now.
Now we're getting the exposure.
We're getting hell exposure. We're probably going to get more exposure in the future.
Yo, it's insane.
Come on.
One day in the future,
yeah,
I have my thoughts about exposure right now. And I know I'm gonna piss a lot of people off when I talk about that too. But yeah, we're getting the exposure that we've been asking for, but it still doesn't seem to be enough for everybody. Increments, right?
Right.
We got to understand why it's not being shown, and then once we get the understanding, figure out ways in order for it to become